What's up, everyone? It is Dr. Calvin Ng. I am here at Justin Franson's house, a beautiful home in Corona del Mar, Southern California. Justin, please, thank you for doing this, and thank you for having me. We're doing this podcast where we're going to be talking about everything about 5G, about radiation, radio frequencies, health, and some strategies that we can do to, help harmonize all those harmful effects of 5G. But Justin will tell us a little bit more about that, actually a lot more about that. So Justin, my good friend, tell us more about yourself, where you're from, what you're about, and let's go.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Calvin, for having me on. Guys, appreciate you tuning in, listening a little bit about the wireless signals, electricity, dirty electricity, all the radio frequencies, all those invisible stressors, we call it. So the main thing is we want to keep your life force up. So we want to keep you grounded. And Dr. Calvin and I had an epic workout
at
the park. We banged out about 100 pull-ups and did a bunch of squats and lunges and step-ups and all the good stuff, finished with some qigong but those are the types of workouts that I love because they just allow you to build your life force up and your chi up, and that's what we're going to really need. I think kind of reverse engineering our talk. We want to get our life force up, and when you have it up, you won't get hit from the EMF stuff. And then when you have some amazing, protection from our grounding bags, you won't get hit at all with those. But we want to really understand proximity to this stuff, how to build your life force up with proper nutrition and protection, pocket protection, purse protection, on-the-go protection, and then deep sleep grounding bags for when you can sleep. Because when you sleep, you produce the most melatonin. That's when all of those hormones are produced. That's when you rejuvenate, is during your sleep, and when you get into the deeper REM state sleep. So for us, it's really combines all those aspects in it, and we're really pushing the sleep component too, because when your Wi-Fi is on and your cell phone's on and your smart meter's going every 7 to 15 seconds, it's tapping you on the shoulder and basically saying, talk to me. And it's a sporadic pulse. All your devices are always pinging. What happens is our brain goes into this twilight sleep and we try and figure out what's pinging it. And we don't get into that deep restorative REM sleep. That's where these products come in, and that's where understanding awareness of proximity comes in, so you can sleep and heal, and then use these other tools of grounding, nutrition, and our grounding bags to help protect you from those invisible stressors.
Awesome. Let's back up a little bit let's talk about I want to have you explain, because you've done a lot of research in the realm, but, as a holistic care practitioner, as a doctor, I see a lot of patients with, common complaints of headaches, right? Nausea, right? Gut issues, insomnia, they can't sleep, they can't focus, they can't concentrate, there's brain fog, any of these things that people just write it off as, oh, it's just a normal headache, it's just a normal, oh yeah, I just feel tired, I just need my coffee, I just can't concentrate, like it's sort of becoming this norm, but it's not normal. And I want to talk about sort of like the harmful effects, if you will, because I think a lot of people don't really realize it, probably because they're invisible, right? Like they're everywhere, right? It's going on everywhere, but we can't see it, we can't really feel it, we can't taste it, we can't smell it. So a lot of people might sort of write it off as like, it's not that bad, right? Let me just shove my food in a microwave and it heats up. It's not that bad. We don't see the long-term effects, right, like later on, and they're not testing for it long-term as well. So, talk to me about like what effects are these radio frequencies, our Wi-Fi routers, the 5G that's coming, what are these doing to our bodies, specifically?
Definitely. Well, I have a company called athleticism.com, along with emfprotection.com. So for over 22 years, I am a performance coach, and I work mostly on athletes, and I do sensory motor nerve work for sports performance. So I would see a lot of athletes break down from driving Teslas, wearing smartwatches for virtually no reason. I mean, their whole arm would go weak on only one side. And so years ago, I started diving into, what's going on with this invisible stressors of electricity, and really found some interesting information out. First, you can get a meter, and there's so many different meters out there, but you have meters for electricity, dirty electricity, radio frequency, that can quantify this invisible stressors as a nuisance, as noise, as levels. And to break it down scientifically, everything travels in waves, as you know. So our body sleeps, revs, and optimizes, at a very low waves per second. Very low. And the Wi-Fi signal from your router, your cell phone, they operate in the billions of waves per second when we sleep at 1 to 4, when we're in a deep REM sleep. So you have, just on the wireless stuff, you have a positive charge, and we're negative, the Earth's negative, the ocean's negative, and then you have this millimeter waves that are 10 zeros faster than how we sleep, rev, and optimize. So when you add 10 zeros to anyone's bank account, that's a significant difference. So our bodies feel the same way when you add 10 zeros to the speed of a wave. And it's really affects us in so many ways. So when I first met Dr. Cohn and started going to the Cohn Health Institute, my energy was shot because I had years of more fatigue. So fatigue, like chronic fatigue, that was my button. I got mono when I was 19. And so I have to be really careful with my energy levels. And when I'm not, I get hit hard. When these stressors pick up a little bit, it knocks me down a little bit. My energy, it dials you off a little bit, at least definitely for me, because I can read energy really well, like Dr. Calvin, and because I work with it all the time. I do lots of muscle testing too. And when you can feel energy, you know when yours is off and when yours is on. And these millimeter waves, these invisible stressors, end up being this low-grade stressor on us 24/7. And especially now that most people are in their homes more often than not, you don't know what's behind your walls. Like, are they wired right? You don't know, how strong these signals are. It's like until you turn on your computer and you start looking for an internet connection, and you see you can pick up 40 other connections because you live in a dense neighborhood or an apartment complex. Like, that's 40 times 2.45 billion waves per second, plus all the other wireless devices in your home. That's a lot of signals when you do the cumulative effects of it. So the first thing, I think the big thing that these grounding bags have been just a blessing for is they recharge your body. Your eyes, your teeth, your thymus, and your large intestine get decharged from EMF. So these millimeter waves will cook your eyes. I mean, the wattage, when they can increase the wattage, they could fry an eyeball like an egg.
Yeah.
It's that, they can go 900,000 watts. That's the allowable watts that these small cell sites can turn up to. And the average cell site only needs about 30,000 watts. So they can go up and up and up. And the way they're getting really tricky with this information is they're able to bend waves now through amping up the wattage. So the more wattage they can do, they can cut through buildings. And if they can cut through a building, which 5G wasn't supposed to, but now they can, if they could bend them around buildings, which it wasn't supposed to, now they can, they're amping up the wattage to do that. So your eyes and your teeth are going to take a big hit. Their teeth are going to fracture a little bit, and then your teeth are your gateway to health. Like, if your teeth, or as Dr. Cohn would say, man, he's like, God, I've had people that had root canals and they have this little infection up in their gums. They were diagnosed as like clinical, like terminal, and they thought they only had, days to live. And he's like, nah, it's an infection in your gums.
Yeah.
Let's fix it. All of a sudden, they're fine. So these teeth are like super, super important as a gateway to health. You really want to dive into that. And then the thymus is your electrical system for your body. So when you can recharge that, and we do a self-home care program. You actually hold the area, AK technique, and tap on the grounding bag. And that'll ignite that area to recharge your electrical system, or your eyes and your teeth, or just that. You can even do emotions with your forehead. So absolutely fantastic for that. But that's the first thing, is once you're decharged, you're a gateway for all the other things. The first signs of EMF are all cognitive: focus, memory, behavior, fatigue, anxiety, stress, headaches. Those are going to be the first levels of EMF challenges. And once we get past those, you go to like more of the intermediate level, would be severe headaches, more migraine-esque, ringing in the ears, bloody noses, muscle twitching. Those are going to be another level. And then it ends up being more like a non-trauma concussion injury. So you're getting a concussion symptoms, the dizziness, all that nausea, you're getting that at the higher level without hitting your head. That's what those millimeter waves can do. And we've shown that on the Havana cohort, on 60 Minutes. Last year, 60 Minutes, they ran the segment several times, but it was the first attack of U.S. Embassy workers on foreign soil with microwave radiation. Wow. Which is unbelievable. They use it as crowd control for military. They use it again as weaponry, and because you can just stun people instantly. So these bags are really important because you can actually repel this stuff. And I'll get into another test we just did after. But the third level would be the bigs. And the bigs are not COVID. That's just a simple, flu-like virus. Okay. The big is cancer. Diabetes would be huge. Cardiovascular, Alzheimer's, and suicide. And so those are huge. I mean, these are big, big things. We saw someone in high school, CDM, last year committed suicide. His street, he lives in a local Newport Beach residence. His street has the highest level of milligauss, and that's what we read electricity at. It metered at 72 milligauss. 1 is considered safe. His was at 72. There's no scratching your head why someone that may have been brain typed for suicide, that may have been on, who knows what other stuff he was on. But when you start to get into, those millimeter waves, they're absolutely daunting for the body and the health of the body. We're seeing diabetes, I think, really increase at a whole nother level because of all the fake food. And that's why these important supplements, are absolutely fantastic for you. The cardiovascular is absolutely a big one too. So the cardiovascular is just huge.
Cool. 100%. I love it. And it's like, as I sit here, I can't help but notice, how quiet, how peaceful, and just, like when you're outside, I think this goes on for most people, as I've heard a lot, is it's sort of like you just don't really have a sense of, even if you're trying to meditate or wind down the day, you don't really get that sense of it, right? Your body's always in that fight or flight. And really what that is your body's just in that stress state. It thinks it's sort of like wired to always go, right? Or to fight something, to run away from something, or the stress is always constantly on your mind. But these are not just like emotional stress or psychological stress. These are stressors from, these electronics that we have, the Wi-Fi routers. And like you said, just look on your phone. You just search for Wi-Fi and there's 40 different ones that pop up. And that's the thing, is that we can't stop that. I can't go knock on my neighbor's door. I live in an apartment, so it sucks. But I live like I can't go knock on my neighbor's doors and be like, "Hey, can you? It's 10 p.m. Can you shut off your router so
Well,
I
you
can
can.
sleep?"
I
You know?
mean,
I mean, you can, but
I would highly recommend it. Like literally, I've been chirping in my neighbor's ears to actually shut down their Wi-Fi and basically put it on a timer at night for their own health. But I don't get many signals here because we have lots of space. But what we did do is we opted out of our smart meter, and that was the biggest thing. That will polarize a house instantly. So the positive charge is what you don't want, and having a smart meter in our house makes your home act like it's a small cell site on your house.
wow.
So ask your neighbors to opt out of their smart meters. Say, hey, it's 75 bucks one time, 10 bucks a month. I'll pay for it if it's really close to you. And you will notice a significant difference. I know it's not the biggest, easiest question to ask, but it's probably one of the more important ones, especially if you're looking to have kids, having kids, living in those proximities. You want those waves, you want your home to be quiet. We don't want all those waves going.
Right, right.
Again, everything travels in waves, the light, the sound, the sun, but the sun's unpolarized. It distributes equally in every direction. Man-made waves are meant to go in one direction. And the challenge with this EMF, Dr. Calvin, is a secondary challenge. It's a subatomic chaos first, because when that one directional wave hits something, it starts going all over. So you're having these millimeter waves cut through all these subatomic particles throughout the entire atmosphere with satellites, and they're just ruining our environment. And then when they're hitting us, there's so much subatomic chaos. Dr. Martin Pall says it opens up the voltage-gated calcium channels that lets positive calcium into a negative cell. That's when we have tremendous DNA and cell damage. And so that's when we get decharged, and then you have cognitive, you have the bigger intermediate, and then you have all the bigs start to happen to you. And it's not over a quick period of time. Like one of the families that I've cleared, they lived in their house for I think 12 years at really high levels of milligauss, and then really high levels of dirty electricity. It took their son 12 years to get diabetes, childhood diabetes at age 12.
Wow.
From living in that. So, and they're perfectly healthy, professional athlete, parent, like eat organic, super wealthy, like great, beautiful home, but it wasn't clean. And there was a massive transformer in the backyard that powered about 15 homes in the neighborhood. So when you really look at a healthy home, you got to look at the waves, and you got to ask people to quiet down their waves and make sure you quiet down yours.
100%. Yeah. Like I said, in this home, it's like once we stop talking, it's almost as if there's not this absolute silence.
Yeah, without the dog.
Yeah, without the dog. But it's phenomenal because like you have all these Tesla rocks and these grounding bags probably everywhere, and you've done a lot of work on the home. Talk to me a little bit about what are the Tesla rocks? What do they do? Like how'd you come up with them?
Again, I've been working with athletes for a long time, looking for solutions for the cell phone. I was probably the last guy that had a cell phone because I just could not hold them. I felt the energy. It wasn't good for me. I always kept it away from me. And now it's more of a necessity, so it's a part of our life. As far as communicating and doing business and being really proficient at it. Unfortunately, they're not going away. It's only getting faster and more prolific. So we have to learn to adapt to them. So I've basically been researching all these years. I'm the mad scientist years ahead of a lot of my coworkers in cutting edge stuff. And I'm probably one of the only sports performance guys working with nerves. As I was one of the first to bring kettlebells to Orange County, as I was 20, when I was 19, I'm in my late 40s now, one of the pioneers in gluten-free. So they didn't have protein-style sandwiches when I was 19. So I have a track record of really spotting trends and health things that can really impact people's lives and implementing it. This is one that I spotted, started researching, working with different doctors on this stuff. found this protocol being utilized and got to the source of it. We hand mine these Tesla crystals. That's the beauty of them. They have a moisture content in them, and they repel electricity really, really well. We put them inside of a silver bag, which is called a Faraday bag, that it just protects them from needing to be regrounded. And it's a fantastic way to deploy it. The outer cloth bag is more decorative. You use these as is. You put them on your bed or under your bed, on your desk or underneath your desk. You want to have 3 to 5 per 2,000 square feet. And you put them on the floor. In a bathroom, a tile floor is best. It'll clear 2,000 square feet. If you have a lot of stressors, you'll want 5. And you really don't have to turn off your routers. You don't have to turn your devices off at night with these. I recommend you do. These do 4 things. They repel EMF, they ground, they recharge your body, and they facilitate healing. Like they're like going to Dr. Calvin for a treatment. And he's one of the best at giving treatments. I just had one with him about a week and a half ago, and it was spot on, fantastic. Energy jumps up. These products are really similar to getting a treatment. There's a doctor named Bear Lando. He's with alphavetic.com. He creates some amazing supplements like the Secret, and he has just this whole line of stuff. But he's one of the true Rudolf Steiner guys that really understands waveform technology. He has a dual impedance antenna that measures all your meridians in your body. Wow. And it basically connects to those. It is a dual impedance antenna that will calculate 18 dimensions of your body.
Wow.
And from those waveforms, he will analyze the health of your body. So your chi, your life force, is primary. Your blood is basically a result of your life force. So if your energy's down, your blood's going to reload. It's going to stick and stack like if you're holding on to a phone. But if your life force is good and you're away from that stuff, it's going to have more movement and motion like healthy blood should. With his waveform test, he tested 2 individuals. One was in their late 20s, and she had her thymus was decharged. So she had 15 markers off on this entire test. The grounding bags were placed around her, 5 of them were, and she corrected 60%. So it was like going to Dr. Calvin and getting a treatment and you're 60% better just by putting grounding bags around you. That's unbelievable. The next guy was way older. He was 62 years of age. His thymus was charged and he had 10 markers off. The grounding bags corrected 9 out of the 10. 90% treatment, like just with grounding bags around you. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So there's not many products out there that can do that. There's absolutely none, like EMF products that I know of that facilitate healing. But it's because these Tesla crystals carry a magnetic charge. They're like walking barefoot in the bag. They're the healing pulse of the earth, the Schumann resonance, which is 7.8 hertz in a bag. And we need that really low and slow frequencies because we're getting bombarded by something 10 zeros faster than how we sleep, rev, and optimize. So it ends up being something that can repel it, can ground you. It's very grounding when you hold it. You just don't want to let it go. And then the other aspect is it recharges. So if I were there when he did the test, which I wasn't because it was a third-party independent test, I would have had her put her hand on her thymus, tap the bag. That would have ignited her within 50 seconds. Her thymus would have been recharged. She would have been 100% on her treatment just from her thymus charge and her age.
It's amazing.
And so that's where we want to really look at waves and energy and life force. And that's why we did Qigong at the park. That's why we did a bunch of breath work. We incorporated breath work into pull-ups. That's why these products really, really work, is because the frequency of them is so profound. And the Cone Health Institute, they load up on these and it helps keep their supplements charged. So for any other doctors following this guy, you want to keep your supplements charged because they'll lose their charge. They'll lose their negative ionic charge. They'll get decharged as well. But when you put it on the grounding bag, you don't have to send them back. you tap on it and it actually recharges it instantly. So that's the effect of how powerful these products are, and kind of what we need to look at when we're understanding EMF and waveforms and how to boost your life force.
Yeah, I think that was a super important point, by the way, on the supplements. It's, you know, we go to many different places, whether it's medication or supplements or anything that we ingest. You know, you want it to be alive, right? Which is why these greens here are raw, because they're raw greens. They're the way nature intended to be, and they're giving you pure oxygen, which is what our bodies need in order to survive. Now, that's a whole new concept to people, is that keeping the supplements, keeping the whatever you're ingesting charged up. And it's funny because, many years ago, when I was starting in chiropractic school, I remember there was a supplement rep. I think it was like Pure Encapsulations, and I was asking them, hey, I see your products on Amazon, right? Some people are selling on Amazon. I'm worried about, if I sign up with you guys, and I'm selling your supplements, like I'm gonna get undercut by like somebody on Amazon. And long story short, this is what they told me. The rep was like, they actually try to like find like who's doing it, and then they try to cut them out. But what they told me was like, they educate people not to buy supplements off online or Amazon, because what they do is they irradiate their supplements so that it kills, germs, COVID, whatever. They just kill stuff. So you have to. It's like microwaving. It's like sticking this in a microwave.
Yeah.
What's it gonna do? It's gonna decharge it. It's gonna ionize it. It's gonna destroy the properties in it. And that's what Justin is talking about. Is that, and that even they were like saying that, yeah, you don't want to take those supplements because it completely changes the molecular formulation, the molecular structures of the supplements, and the nutrients are all basically gone. And that company is fully synthetic. That's like, it's made in a lab. This is like real food, real stuff. So just imagine, these are even more sensitive. So, which is why, these grounding bags are just so phenomenal. I mean, people come into the office and they'll say, it's as if, like I said here, it's as if I just walked in and I'm in a whole new world, and I just completely I'm ready to receive the healing, and to get my life force like charged up again, which is actually a really important concept, which I think a lot, in Western medicine, Western culture, we don't talk too much about life force, about chi, about energy, but it's actually really important. Like you said, it is primary, and arguably probably all the other stuff is secondary. So, and it's crazy because this knowledge has been there for thousands, 5,000 years of knowledge. And we can't just discredit it, right? And now we're seeing that, wow, like acupuncture meridians, they're there, and we can measure the energy, we can see these things. So it's phenomenal that, like you said, you're ahead of your time just talking about these things. And I think this is ahead of, our time, but this is what's really gonna, I think, save us from, because, they're gonna continue rolling out what they need to roll out. And
Sure.
that's the unfortunate part is that. But here is an awesome solution where people can easily put it in their bag, in their cars. This is what I tell my patients: bag, car, router, and bed. All the time. And it's phenomenal, left and right. And that's why it's like, flying off the shelf. I'm actually here to pick up another box of it, is because people have been, all the doctors have been saying people have been sleeping better, they've been healing better, like all the unexplainable things that we're like, things don't make sense, that's been getting resolved. So phenomenal results that I don't even think you're aware of. So, kudos to you guys for doing what you do. And it's just, I love it. And the life force part, you've been studying that for a long time, about life force, about chi, qigong. Talk to us a little bit about, like, why is that so important? What's the, what's all the radiation doing it to our life force, and about that.
Well, I feel it chips away at it. So you really, if we were able to dedicate hours of meditation and breath work and grounding and qigong or tai chi movement, breathing-esque work, our life force would be like a Shaolin monk. It would be so much more resilient, but it's not. Like we're beating the crap out of ourselves with eating fake food. Like everything we put in our mouths, and I'm gonna be just as guilty, is fake food for the most part. It's just these apples have wax all over them. It's like, what the hell is this wax? I scrape my knife over the skin and I could wax my surfboard with the amount of wax that comes off of this stuff. It's like, that's not even real. We're getting all this crap in our food. And so we just have to be even more diligent on grabbing real whole foods and supplementing with clean, real whole food products. I have written a book. It's called Athleticism, Whole Body plus Whole Brain equals Performance. It's coming out very soon. It's done. We're just packaging up and putting the printer together, and it'll be out there on the shelves. I have 3 pillars for performance. And number 1 is awareness. The other, whole body exercises, whole brain exercises, are the other 2. But awareness covers every aspect of what we're talking about. It covers breath work, qigong, proper intake, really burning the right fuel sources, semantics. All these things play a massive, massive role in our life force, in our performance. And it's not just one thing. It's not just one product. I wish it was that simple. But we have to develop a team supporting us. And that's why you go to guys like Dr. Calvin at the Cone Health Institute. That's why you get the supplements that he recommends. That's why you grab your grounding bags and you load up on these. It massively, massively will collectively boost your life force up. And when your energy is strong, you're not going to get nicked. Like Shaolin monks, they're not fazed by EMF. They somehow can turn that positive charge back into the negative ionic charge just with their own life force. That's physics. They can do it with their own energy. We, meaning the general population, even guys like me that do a ton of breath work and really do my best to stay grounded, this is a necessity to have these products, these suite of products to help my life force stay strong. Because if there's a day where you're nicked down and you're chipped away, you need to add another grounding bag. Like that means that signal strength, that cumulative effect of 4G, 5G, smart meters, Wi-Fi, all the cell sites, that's 50 times 5G. Oh, and then I'll throw in San Onofre power plant, any power plant that's around your area. You guys, this is physics. These are waves. And when you have those positive waves, they're going to look to pick up all the other ones. And so they're going to create this Internet of Things, which is their dream to create. Because then they can just track you, control you, like make you sicker quicker. There's a lot of stuff that they can do with you. The last thing you want is that. You don't want any rice-sized radio frequency chip that goes with your vaccine in you. That's 14 to 15 million waves per second. That's like your phone or your actually fob key for getting in any gate. It's like your alarm switch on your car. Like you don't want to sleep with that on your head 24/7. It's just not a great recipe for success. So I think awareness of life force, and there is a great book on earthing that talks about that Schumann resonance, that healing pulse of the earth. And again, it goes back to like we rev at a very low and slow wave per second. So does the earth, so does the ocean. And they're negative charge, so are we. And that's where we thrive. So go hug a tree, like literally, like that'll ground you. Go get barefoot, that'll ground you. Go jump in the ocean, that'll ground you. And that is directly correlated with boosting your life force. There's no scratching your head why people go on a vacation to the ocean, the beach, and the sunlight, the light closer to the equator will actually break down the millimeter waves from the satellites. They've already launched over 7,000, about 7,400 satellites, 210 miles away from the Earth. That's the closest satellite. Wow. They're beaming 5G down to us through phased array, through basically beams. And a 5G is basically 4 frequencies in one. These small cell sites have 16 antennas with 4 frequencies in each of them. And if there's a phone on the street, they can move about 20 or so degrees and go directly at that phone. So you can get those signal strength. This is smart technology. So if you just happen to walk in between that, you're going to get, and you're the only one, that other guy's the only one on the street, you're going to get 16 5G basically lasers going right through you, and which is meant to serve 50, 60,000 cars driving by it a day. But they don't turn this stuff off. The excess power used for this is absolutely horrific for our environment. There's no better term than horrific and criminal for what our government's doing, what the FCC is doing, what these products do. Now, I don't want to scare you into Dr. Cohn or the Cohn Health Institute, Dr. Calvin's office to do an emotional clearing on it, because we don't want to give our energy away to this stuff. We just have to have this awareness and learn how to build the life force up.
Perfect. I like that. And that's really important, because it's really about awareness, being able to discern, being able to recognize, like, hey, maybe, and question and say, hey, are there stuff that I could be doing, or are there things that are harmful for me? Like you said, I'm eating clean, I'm eating organic, I'm staying off of dairy, gluten, soy, I'm getting my water intake. What else can I be doing? And this is sort of like, I like to say it's like, like the type of lifestyle that we live, it's like over the top, like on health. But this stuff is not, EMFs is a huge thing, and it's not just like, it's not like gluten where you're like, you can choose to not have it. This is like in your face, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It is there, and you are constantly getting bombarded by it. I don't know why we still need to keep pushing the limits here. I think my phone is plenty fast.
Definitely.
I think, my download speed is great, and I have the cheapest package on the internet, and it's still great. It functions like how I want it. So it's sort of like, why do we need faster and faster speeds? And as you were saying before, we were talking about off camera, it's like, 4G is like this, but then 5G is like what, like 100 times, you said?
Yeah.
100 times more than 4G, which is what the previous technology
That's
is.
the effect it has on the body.
Right.
So, I have to give guys like Dr. Calvin, people who are in the space, a lot of credit. Like, it takes a lot of work to really, and I call it willpower. I think willpower is the most biggest thing that we have to have. It takes a lot of work and willpower to stay healthy. Like this guy, you go to a workout with him, he's got rings, the gymnastic rings. This guy's just absolutely phenomenal shape. But the strength that it takes and the accumulation of years of working out and the flexibility and the strength training, the Olympic lifting that he's done, it shows in a workout. That doesn't just come overnight. You can't just, get this overnight. We're in a new era, you guys, where this awareness has absolutely shifted your consciousness to a higher level, and eating crappy food and taking crappy care of yourself and beating the crap out of yourself is unacceptable anymore. And it's because you're going to get hit. You're not going to be able to bounce back because you have so many more stressors than we ever have. It's a necessity for me, I'll speak for myself, to take really good care of myself and to do big workouts and to surf and to breathe and to do qigong. Like, it's a necessity to have this mini grounding bag in my pocket all the time so I'm protected wherever I go. It's a necessity for my family. My wife, she had some early menopause signs like going on, like night sweats like crazy. When the second we loaded our house up with their grounding bags, everything normalized. You guys, this is a necessity. It's unbelievable to see, people like, oh, they're worried. Like people are wearing masks for this COVID thing. It drives me nuts. It just shows that you're not confident enough of how well you're taking care of yourself. So stop it. Start taking care of yourself. Like get some willpower, get some secret, go see Dr. Calvin, reshift your mindset, and let's go into being machines and healthy machines. And it doesn't mean you can't have treats and have a normal lifestyle. I mean, I eat a ton. I'm 6'2", I weigh 180. Like I eat a ton. I never suffer or starve, but I eat plant-based, I eat steak, I have an AB blood type so I can do both. I take my HCl when I eat steak because I do better with lamb. I figured out my system and how it revs. Like figure your system out and really up your game, you guys. Like this is the time. It's no better time than the present to step up your game, get outside, get some sunlight, start grounding, learn some breath work, learn how to strength train, and just get a foundational base. All this stuff will amp up your energy. And then fuel your intake with clean foods. Get rid of anything that's not organic. Okay, I'm not saying organic's the best, but it's the best of what we have to offer unless you're going to go and have your own farm. So, and grow, everything with the cleanest seeds and nothing GMO'd and nothing pesticide. You got to shop really super clean and start feeding your family, your kids, because all these guys do all day long is correct everything from gut health, right? Yeah. Vaccines, like heavy metal toxins. They're just going, okay, body, can we please figure out how to flush it to get it going? I mean, is that not like 90% of what you do?
Oh yeah, 100%.
100%. Yeah. And what percentage, I've asked like a lot of docs this, what percentage of the client base that you have that you see have been affected by EMF?
I would say 100.
100. I have asked every doctor on our Go Beyond Summit that I do with Dr. Howard Cohn. They've all said 100% of the people are affected now currently by EMF. It's a fact. These are necessities. This lifestyle is a necessity. You guys, we want you to step up your whole game, your productivity, your energy, your life force, to be able to give back and give to your kids and your family bigger than you've ever dreamed of. And the only way to do it is to feel good. And when you feel absolutely amazing, that's when you can give and give and give.
100%. What you can't give if you don't have, right? So you gotta have more energy. You gotta have that vibrancy. You gotta vibe at a higher level, right? We all know that. I think the experts did the Einstein. Actually, Einstein said it himself, right? Einstein or Nikola Tesla, they both said, if you want to access the secrets of the world, you look at vibration, frequency, right? If you want to, and I think Einstein said, well, at the end of the day, I'm paraphrasing this, at the end of the day, it's just energy and frequency and vibration. That's all there is to it, right? So there's a lot in that. It's a lot, and we're continuing to see this every single day in science, right? People have known this for years. Science is just now catching up. It's always behind, in my opinion, for science. But I like what you said about it's the system. You got to upgrade your system. I always give the analogy of a car, right? And there's plenty of cars out there. I think people really get this analogy, right? Is that, there's the Toyotas, nothing wrong with it, right? There's the Hondas, and then you got the Range Rovers, and then you got the Ferraris, right? It's sort of like, where do you see your body in those categories, And it's not, some people see it as like, well, like I'd like to be a Ferrari. I like to run like that, like a race car machine. But ladies and gentlemen, that is a choice. That is not it's not like you were born a Toyota. You were born to have the ability to be a Ferrari, to be this awesome machine, this awesome human being with this awesome body and awesome health, do amazing things, right? And experience the amazingness of life, of human life. And so you can have that, but it's like you said, it's a choice, it's a willpower to go the distance, to go above and beyond, to really take care of your health so that you can have all these things, right? Health, wealth, fulfillment, happiness. That's all really, really important. And I like to say, taking supplements, right? The best quality supplements is like, and also food, right? Is like giving your Ferrari the best, highest octane gas, right? You wouldn't give your Ferrari an 87.
You can't.
You can, yeah, you would ruin it.
can't.
And that's what we're doing
Exactly.
with these foods, with conventional foods, right? With fast food, with the stuff that we eat, the stuff that we see on TV, everything else is like the stuff we consume. It's all garbage, right? There's so much garbage out there. So we need to have that awareness, rise above and have that awareness and question, hey, what can we do to actually be and feed myself this 100, if not over, like this race fuel here for my Ferrari body, right? And I like to equate this to like, every car, there's software in it, right? There's the way that the whole engine and the ECU and the shifting gears, everything runs. It just works, right? Your body's kind of the same way. You don't understand how it works, but it just works. The grounding bags, these grounding bags, what I think of it as like, it's sort of like putting like an upgraded chip on the car and just making everything like smoother. It's like getting a tune-up, right? Same thing like when people come get treated, get a chiropractic adjustment, get emotional work done.
My favorite.
Yeah, it's like, it's just resetting everything and making sure everything is running efficiently. And that is like sort of like that little key, if you watch like Marvel, if you watch the latest Avengers movie, it's like, you got the stones and there's like the stone that attaches and then all of a sudden like Thanos has all this power. And that's what this is like kind of doing, is upgrading your system, so it's really cool. Silly analogies, but I mean, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. And that's really how our bodies work. It's really how a lot of things work in life. It's through this energy and vibration, and how do you just up it? How do you upregulate it, right? So it's phenomenal stuff. I love what you guys are doing. Talk to me about this Faraday bag. You got it sitting right here.
Oh yeah. So everyone loves these Faraday bags. It protects you from your phone and your phone from you. So if you're having to have your phone on at night next to the head of your bed, throw it in the Faraday bag and it'll quiet down the noise. They're awesome. So it also protects your phone from any EMP and electromagnetic pulse. So if there's a big sonic boom that would wipe out all your electronics and you want to protect your equipment, you can put them in there. Also protects your wallet from getting stolen. We found probably one of the bigger things, like a hot topic, is this contact tracing now with everyone, the COVID thing, and which is such a joke. Yes, I said it publicly. So
Whatever.
Just like Dr. Cohn says. So anyways, you guys put your phone in this thing and they won't know where you are. It'll still ring. Your phone will still ring to find you, but it doesn't show up on the map where you are. Really cool. So your map, it just can't pinpoint you with the phone in there. So it still rings with it in it. Sometimes, not always. But the coolest thing is it just quiets a lot of the noise down. So everyone are loving these. They absolutely love it. And for the people that it's essential to have their phone on, you can still charge it and then just throw it in the bag without fully sealing it, and it'll still work really, really well. And then one last tip before, I know we got to go, we're running out of time, but you guys, there's a way to protect your phone. So many people try and find copper chips and stuff to put on their phones, man-made stuff. That stuff will test maybe good for about a month and then it burns out. The signal strengths are too hard. It's too challenging to clear an electrical device directly it's just near impossible. And that's why you don't want to plug anything with mats or grounding mats and stuff. Like, you want to use an organic, all organic product to do it. And it's the same with the phone. So let me give you a solution for your phone. At night, before you go to bed, take your phone and charge it so it's full charge. Then take it outside, put it on the ground, ground it, charge it, ground it for a minute or two. Just put it on the grass or where have you. And then bring it inside, put it inside the Faraday bag and seal it. Charge it, ground it, seal it. Overnight, sealed in the bag. The next day when you go to use it, it'll have a normalized charge until you plug it into something back. These things are awesome.
That's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Tricks of the trade.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's you know, and I've learned so much from you as well, just, you know, using the bags, using the grounding bags, and constantly, you know, telling patients, hey, you can do this with it, you can do this with it. And people are like, oh, I didn't know that, you know. I know a lot of people work with like I'm staring at a laptop, right? People are using their laptops, right? You should be probably using the grounding bag with that or close by with you, because
definitely.
you know, you got to neutralize all that stuff. Just so many things.
You don't want to ever put that on your lap. If you do, put this in your case, and then so you have a shield so it's not going directly. The bottom of the laptops are super, super strong. The last warning, Dr. Martin Paul says that the first trimester of pregnancy is when the fetus develops all their reproductive organs for the future. So that is the most important time for a future generation. So new prego moms, absolutely no Wi-Fi, no cell phones. Everything's quiet. Get the grounding bags for definitely the first trimester or two, because your fetus has absolutely zero protection, zero skull, zero blood-brain barrier. They're just literally just getting cooked. So we're looking, I always look several generations out for conservancy and just awareness. And we want to see our kids really be healthy. My grandkid, I want my grandkids healthy. So there's no way my daughter has a phone next to her head or an iPad on her lap or even a laptop on her lap. There's absolutely no way. And the people that do are older, and they're going to have this on their lap first, and then they'll put their iPad on it if they have it. I just keep bugging people to put it to the side of them so it's not directly on them. So you guys, let's get some awareness. Let's learn to coexist with all this man-made EMF, because it's not going away. They just keep pushing the levels. There's already 6G routers coming out. It's like, what are you guys doing? It's all for contact tracing. It's all for facial recognition. It's all for big government to control. It's not a great recipe for our health at all, whatsoever have you. It kills the topsoil. It's killing our plants. A lot of doctors, MDs especially, are coming out and saying that this pandemic's an environmental toxin. A lot of them are saying it's due to glyphosate from Roundup, which is that herbicide, water soluble. For 30 years we've been poisoning it. Well, we've had that long of radio frequencies. It goes back to 1918, where we introduced it into our atmosphere. And then World War II, we had radar. And then the Hong Kong flu, we had satellites and Van Allen belt. Like, we've had our levels. So pandemics that come from man-made, they come from cosmic shifts as well, from waves and particles in the atmosphere. This is our body producing a virus to adapt to the new environment. We produce the stuff. We have our own adaptive immune response, which is how we know that we can produce it and then flush it really easy. But when your immune system's weak, your immune system isn't able to combat what you've produced, to adapt to the new surroundings. So we end up getting hit harder. So let's have some awareness of how we take care of ourselves, and definitely keep hugging people, touching, loving. That's health. Health is shaking hands, building your garden of bacteria that we're built on. Of course, everyone has viruses in them. Everyone has viruses. There's no scratching your head on that. Okay, so we all know that we need to build that garden, and definitely health isn't a radio frequency vaccine that can track you and change your mood and make you sicker quicker. We want to clear all that
Right.
stressor out of our life.
Yep, 100%. Listen, history, if it's anything we know from history, it's that it repeats itself, right? I know in chiropractic, when we first learned about x-rays, you learned about how, in the beginning when they first discovered, they're like, whoa, this is so cool, you can see right through it. And then they started blasting everybody with x-rays. And then it became sort of like a treatment, right? I forgot what the right term was for, but it was like, this is good for you. You should be getting your daily dose of x-ray, which is like completely stupid. But we now know that, hey, it actually produced a lot of hand, skin cancer, right? And that's when they started shutting the whole thing down. This is sort of like the same thing. We're playing with a loaded gun that we have no idea how to handle it, right? So it's sort of, and we're trying to push the limits even more. And I think it's great that people are advancing in technology, but it's like, wow, so amazing. But then it's sort of like with that, it comes to responsibility, right? How are we using it? Are we using it for the right things, right? There's so many things out there like contact tracing, and we're seeing it in different countries, is that it's being implemented, right? And we know that in order for them to actually have facial recognition and like these cameras everywhere for surveillance, they need, these small cell towers that
everywhere.
have 5G technology everywhere. So it's sort of like you just connect the dots, We're not saying, hey, A causes B, but then it's like if you connect the dots, it's sort of like, hey, it's just common sense, right? So yeah, it's a lot of things, but that's what it is. And I think, a lot of people, you guys might be thinking like, wow, that was a lot of stuff. It was overwhelming. It's a lot of knowledge, 100%. We're like super gung-ho on it. But what I always like to say is, people will do things for the right reasons. You'll do the things, if you know your why, right? For like what Justin said, he was like, I don't want my grandkids, I don't want my kids, I don't want anybody who I love, I don't want the future generation to go on and be zombies, and for us even not to have a human race anymore and to be cyborgs. We don't want that. So, we want them to have an awesome life. I'm staring out in the ocean. It's just this amazing place. And we want them to experience life, like how we're experiencing it and the awesomeness of it. And so, why do this is because, you gotta find your why, and you gotta find that inner, that heart strength, that heart mentality, that that love of, spreading love for other people, right? Giving, we talked about giving, and just, helping everybody out and making sure that everybody's living a high quality of life. And that's what the why is, right? Having a high quality of life so that we can help others, right? Again, it circles back, is that the more energy you have by doing all these things, the more energy you can give and impact in a powerful way to the entire rest of the world. And that's fulfilling, right? That's what fuels us. That's what makes sense to us. And that's really, I think, what a lot of human beings like seek and want. So, that's why. So find your reason why, and you'll naturally be able to, you'll naturally seek this information and do it and be motivated and have the willpower to do it. So thank you so much. We ran pretty long here, and we covered a lot of stuff, but I want to be respectful for your time. Thank you, Justin, for doing this, introducing us to these amazing products, and also creating them and being the first one, being cutting edge, pushing the limits. We're out there, at rallies, we're out there like at gatherings and council meetings, and we're there, holding up signs saying, hey, we're fighting for what we believe is right. So yeah, appreciate that from you.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Calvin. You guys check him out at Cone Health Institute. And if you want to support a group, Children's Health Defense is suing the FCC for all of those 5G millimeter waves. The million satellites are going to beam down on us. So check them out. You can donate to their cause. They can use some extra funds to help fight them. And then pick up our grounding bags, emfrocks.com. But even better, go see Dr. Calvin, get him at the Cone Health Institute, and you'll have a better night's sleep than ever. The best gift you can give someone is a gift of an amazing night's sleep, and that's what these do.
Yeah, best gift ever. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.